What? Entertainment Weekly didn't like Picard? You know, this is just like Rise of Skywalker. They can't guarantee positive reviews from every news outlet. Hello, everyone. I am Mecha Random 42, the one, the only, the original, your favorite YouTube harpy. How'd I get the name Harpy? Well, a long time ago, some Discovery trolls decided to call me that. Oh, that Harpy, she's just horrible. You know what else Discovery trolls tried to do? Oh yeah, they decided. Now, for anybody who doesn't know who this is, Chris Hunter is the son of actor Jeffrey Hunter, who played the original Captain Pike in The Cage. So the original Star Trek. And remember how we always love to go back to The Cage with Discovery. They can't let that one go.
I like science.
Not talking about you, Spock. Chris Hunter decided to send a bunch of angry trolls to my YouTube page to post nasty comments on there. Not only that, he also threatened to kick in my viewers' teeth. Oh yeah. And if you want to check out that video, I've got it pinned to basically what I could manage to sit through with Picard for my review, which you can see right here. I made it about 16 minutes in before I just started getting slammed. Just slammed with people like, oh, what's the difference between what you're doing in your video? You're allowing to repeat lies. What lies? What lies? I said flat out, I made it 16 minutes. Right? See, and this is the thing. This is the thing. We just kept getting slammed with people who just couldn't accept the fact that I was going to try and actually watch the thing. Didn't want to watch it. I didn't really want to. But no, so I was unable to physically finish it because one of the things I like to do is I like to do live reviews, live viewings of things on my channel. Now, you guys never will see the actual footage. You're supposed to kind of sync it up along with me, and I'll give you some timestamps, and I'll be riffing it, kind of like Mystery Science Theater does, only not nearly as funny because I'm not a professional comedian or anything, but I do try and give you guys some funny lines, some funny riffing, some funny commentary as we're watching it. And, well, I just wasn't allowed to do that. I wasn't allowed to do that. You had too many people out there who had already made up their minds about it. And now, of course, even in my attempt at a review, my attempt at watching it, people assume they've already made their minds up what I thought about the show. So I don't have to watch it. But I am going to laugh at what Entertainment Weekly has said about it. New life, new civilizations. Nah. Star Trek Picard boldly goes nowhere new. Grave robbing fan familiar concepts. Oh wow, yeah, we're gonna make this bigger. This is a little bit too good to not make as big as we can possibly make it here. Grave robbing fan familiar concepts when it's not distracting you with pointless fight scenes. See, and I just tune out. On fight scenes. I don't care. I'm not a big fan of action sequences in my Star Trek or in anything really. Not a big action sequence fan. The cliches pile in Thursday's premiere episode streaming on CBS All Access. Premonition dreams wedge in a dead character cameo. New character Daj gets the Bourne intro, a regular person, so whoa, where'd the badass martial arts move come from? Jean-Luc Picard, played by Patrick Stewart, returns with a mad-as-hell televised speech. Such a tired way to launch a show that Aaron Sorkin already did it twice. The dynamic between Picard and Daj suggests one-star saga playing catch-up. He's the famous elderly hermit unretiring for one last job. And she's Palpatine's granddaughter, more or less. Oh, lovely. Oh, lovely. She's Palpatine. Oh, love. So basically, she's this.
You can't stop me. I'm a Jedi from Jakku. Fight the dark side from Tatooine to Naboo.
So she's little Mary Ray Palpatine. Lovely, lovely. I'm glad I didn't make it this far. I really am. Because I don't want to sit through that crap again. Worth the subscription fee, you might think, just to see Stuart back in uniform. Oh, he's not back in uniform, though. He's not. I can guarantee you that. The Next Generation's charismatic captain last appeared in 2002's Nemesis, a memorably unpleasant vampire clone weird adventure that killed off Picard's synthetic friend Data. From then to now, Picard got promoted and fired. He was once a Starfleet admiral, plotting a rescue mission to save 900 million Romulans from a supernova that they should have known about had, Nero actually freaking told anybody. Oh, and this ties right into Star Trek 2009. You have Nero sitting there for 40 years, not telling anybody that Romulus is going to go supernova? Seriously? And this is a continuation of the 2009 movie. That's where that story comes from. That's where the story started. And yes, now we're using Next Generation characters in this instead of TOS ones. But it's still in the same 2009 brain fart that movie was. And that one wasn't good either. I sat through that one twice too. That calamity witnessed distantly in 2009's feature reboot took place kitty corner to another disaster. Peaceful androids on Mars went kill Alright, first off, why do you have androids on Mars? Why are you making a bunch of androids, making Data no longer unique? See, this is what breaks my brain about this crap. You're making Data no longer unique or interesting or needed. The carnage scotched the Romulan resettlement plan. Not that there was much political will to help an enemy empire. Well, who cares? Why did Picard part ways with Starfleet? Because he fumes. It was no longer Starfleet. Yeah, that's because you got Alex Kurtzman deciding what's going on behind the scenes. Heavy conceptual framework here. Environmental catastrophe. Home front. Oh my God. This sounds dreadful. You know what? They saved me an hour out of my life. Thank you for everybody who would not allow me to finish watching the first episode. You did me a favor, and I'm appreciative of it, because had it not been for just the relentless trolling and attacks, I probably would have finished the episode and been annoyed. To be unforgivably blunt, it's Space Katrina plus Martian 9 you-know-what, with a side of who turned the androids, crazy hacker paranoia, and the depressing possibility that someone in the writer's room said false flag out loud. Oh, Lord. Picard was a Trek paragon, a soldier, diplomat, philosopher, intermediary for our life stream. Now Starfleet's finest is Starfleet's critic. Yeah. Because see, this is very much, and I'm going to tell you my assessment of it. This is very much a millennial sort of ideal that anything that came before is bad. Anything that was established, anything that was set up, any sort of authority is bad. And I see this in workplaces. Anytime they hire a certain age group of person, they immediately decide that they know everything, they know best, and that anybody above them is not as good because they were educated earlier, because they have wrong think. And there's nothing you can do to convince these people otherwise. They have it in their mind, and this is why I have the same type of people commenting on what I attempted to review and watch, making up their mind about me before they've even seen the video, before they've even gone through. These are the same people who, when you go into my video here, my review, they insist that I'm lying about something. They don't know what, because they didn't think that far. But no, they think that I'm lying about something, and they think that I'm automatically going to set up to hate this. And you know what? I don't have any interest in digging up some show after having people involved behind the scenes with Star Trek treat me the way they have. I have no desire to watch Picard, but I'm going to laugh at it. I'm going to laugh at it for you guys. So we're going to go over some of these reviews. So it doesn't even matter what I say about it, because they've already got their minds made up about what I'm going to say about Picard or not. So I might as well just avoid watching it, right? Picard, suffice to say, is nothing like Next Generation. That doesn't have to be a bad thing, though the streaming hysterics make you long for leisurely syndicated charms, holodeck reveries, 10-forward wind downs, comfy lean-back helm chairs, the eternal promise of an O'Brien family check-in. Instead, Picard is bad for the same reason many contemporary genre series are bad. It's a long-form story with zero forward progression. In the plot, Picard decides to set off on a new mission. 2 episodes later, he's still organizing a crew for that mission. The thrills of pre-production, dramatized. Oh, yay. Because that's what we want in Star Trek. That's really what we want in Star Trek. Not the Star Trek that I know. And you know what? Fine. We're pulling up some visuals. Not the Star Trek that I sat through and went to the experience where probably messed up my back by writing this so many times. Not the Star Trek that I spent my time and energy on 20 years ago actually caring about and giving a crap about. No. No, this is all this new Star Trek that is for people who don't understand it. It's for people who are not, and if anybody wanted to know my real hair color, that was back when it was a little shorter. Yeah, this is from 2002 or so. 2002 to 4, somewhere in there. Captain's chair photo. It's from 2003. It is from 2003. Captain's chair photo. I spent a lot of time with Star Trek. I've spent a lot of money with Star Trek. And to have the experience I had when I sat down to try and watch the new one, where we just kept getting slammed with just the negative comments in the chat before I could even finish it. That's on them. That's on Star Trek. That's on the current culture of the franchise and who they're catering to. They're not catering to Trek fans. Serialization used to be exciting back when Deep Space Nine was crafting a multi-season war epic. The 3 episodes of Picard I've seen confirm that serialization has become a haven for television's hackiest writing, a way to justify stretching one limp story across empty take-forever hours. Brian's role entwines the fame, I have no idea who that is, Trek species, but her subplot deadens into weird stuff sure is happening. Placeholder tension. Santiago Cabrera, Michelle Hurd, Alison Pill play characters who you just know will join up with Picard. Naturally, they spend a long time debating whether or not to join Picard. The series was co-created by Alex Kurtzman, and that's one of the problems with it, in my opinion. The reigning Star Trek producer of the past decade, unfortunately. He co-wrote the 2009 reboot and 2013's Magic Blood Crash Fest for Star Trek Into Darkness before steering Discovery through 2 bumpy seasons. Discovery has its lighthearted pleasures, and it's the first show in TV history to ever feature the decapitated head of a Klingon baby. Oh, and it gets better. It gets better. Oh, it gets better than that, though. It gets better than that. Because you have full-on, against the other person's will, scenes like this one. Like this one. And now I had to censor it. They actually do show the Klingork chesticles there. And yes, I have to censor because who knows what we're allowed to say and what we're not. But no, she actually forces her way onto this human-ish guy. He used to be a Klingon. Now he's a human. He doesn't know he was a Klingon at this point, so he's very much traumatized. Not a good look for Star Trek, mind you. Not at all. Not at all. And that's supposed to be one of our strong female characters. By the way, that L'Rell, that Klingork, and I can't even call her a Klingon. She's an orc. That is one of our strong characters that we're supposed to look up to. Yeah. The noggin was fake, but its appearance was telling. Kurtzman's vision for Star Trek is loud and violent. Mature content for immature dumbos. Oh, that I couldn't have put it better myself. In Picard, there's a reoccurring threat that SWAT-looking assassins might teleport into a room to explode into fountains of blood and acid. You can understand why some fans flee to Seth MacFarlane's The Orville, which recreates a kinder, gentler Trek, right down to the alleged hairpiece. In a generous mood, you'd say Picard is about societal trauma. The main characters are grief-stricken. Hurd's Raffi is a disgraced Starfleeter gone freaky off future weed. Oh, God. Cabrera gives a good scoundrel as a space named Rios, until the tell-all dialogue reveals a tragic backstory involving blood and brains splattered all over a ball. Ugh, who cares? Picard himself is haunted by Data, the man whose death I've mourned for 2 decades. Well, it doesn't matter. You've got 27 Data clones floating around out there because apparently they can just clone androids now. So get over it, old man. Hard to declare absolutes with a franchise so massive, but I do think Picard has built Star Trek's darkest future ever. Synthetic beings are outlawed, victims of the Borg collective recover from their assimilation, and there's no more despised people in the galaxy, we're told. Oh, okay, so no more original Trek fans. Yeah, so who are the despised ones? Because if you believe anything from the production of this, we're all a bunch of toxic, alt-right, orange man loving, whatever the heck they think we are. Despite the fact that people like me haven't voted since Al Gore ran for office, and I don't care about Earth politics. Really don't. Don't care about them. They're kind of beneath me. But no, they're obsessed with this crap. So is that what? Is that what? We're no more despised people? Anti-Romulan settlements run high. The show clearly wants to oppose isolationism, but the plot has it both ways. The pointy-headed sneaks that actually have slithered into the high levels of government. I never dreamed that Starfleet would give in to intolerance and fear, Picard says. And I know what you're thinking. Is he talking about us, man? The problem, I think, is that it's all this bleakness. Is that all the bleakness feels blandly familiar. Cynical tropes, hiding a lack of creative spark. The show doesn't honor its own criticisms. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It sends people to silence the critics. That's what happens. Now, whether these people are paid to do so or doing so of their own free will, they're still being condoned by the production to silence any form of criticism. Picard decrees Starfleet as an organization, but praises Starfleet ethics. He wants to get himself a starship and will, of course, get around to saying engage. Other characters accuse him of being a relic, but they also worship him as a famous hero. You don't blame them. Can't Star Trek just go trekking into the stars? What's the whole point? A new weird thing every week investigated by co-workers, respectful enough to never swear. That's not what we have. That's not what we have, though. We have the modern Trek with the F-bombs, with all of the language. Because it's edgy, isn't it? Because it's edgy, and that's what they want. It's possible that Kurtzman's response would be a variation of an opinion I've seen elsewhere. Well, times are tougher now, so Star Trek should be tougher. No, times are tougher. That's why we need optimistic Trek now more than ever. We need something to look forward to. Are they, and I would ask, are they that dumb? Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. They're not smart enough to make Star Trek intelligent. They are not smart enough to do so, and this is why I cannot even sit through 15, 16 minutes of this without just rolling my eyes and being, you know what? Fine. People have this opinion of me about watching this show, so it's not worth it. It is not worth giving it a watch. The most famous from The Next Generation becomes, no joke, an archaeological dig, but stylistically, it's the lamest sort of modern. Even the twists around Dodge come off like shock tactics, stranding newcomer Brian's into the vacant role of sap who doesn't notice how strange everything is around her. It gives me no joy to say this, but Stewart gave a more interesting performance in 2019's Charlie's Angels. Yeah, where he was just the white man who was bad. Spoiler, I actually watched that one. It wasn't that bad of a movie. You know what? I'd take Charlie's Angels, Elizabeth Banks' Charlie's Angels over this any day, over Picard. And I'm a lifelong Star Trek fan. The Scattershot revival had the wit to cast Sir Patrick Stewart way against type. His Bosley was a wily charmer, and surprise, an angry old man raging against his own future is female obsolescence. Stewart was having scary fun with all that bad behavior. His role here is mournful, but the characters Iconography makes a weird fit into Kurtzman's tone of aggressive self-seriousness. For a certain swath of the Trek-loving fan base, Picard basically is Starfleet. He's raging against his own machine. Kurtzman is one of 4 credited co-creators. There's tonal whiplash in these early episodes that could reflect diverging mission statements. Oh, they've gone through more showrunners than I can even remember at this point. You had Michael Chabon running it. You had Michelle Paradise running this for a minute, and then they left her in charge of Discovery, from what I remember. They've had a lot of showrunners. That was already a problem in Discovery, which frequently swapped producers before resetting itself entirely for the upcoming 3rd season. Will Picard find a clear direction forward? Who cares? I'm not going to be watching it. Unless I get an apology from Alex Kurtzman himself, I'm not going to be watching it. The showrunner is the brilliant novelist. No. He's no longer the showrunner. Michael Chabon, who I'm required to point out also worked on 2012's John Carter. I worry that talky flop is more suggestive of that material here than of any of Chabon's wondrous prose. Honestly, though, I have no clue what Picard looks like going forward. In the 3rd episode, a bunch of people finally get together on the bridge of a starship. The mood lightens immediately. Was that so hard? Yeah, it was. Larger question, does anyone want a bitter and brutal Star Trek? Full of murder, sorrow, flashbacks, swoopy kinetic fights, and all-encompassing paranoia. No, we don't. So much of Trek since 2009 strains to resemble the dumbest version of cool. You always sense the hand of some savvy pitchman producer trying hard to make everything that was once endearingly nerdy look swole as hell. Picard has flashes of eccentricity, and any science fiction show with a Miguel de Unamuno shout-out demands a quantum of hope. But for now, this is another disappointing Star Trek show. Should we give it a chance? My advice, disengage. Grade C. And this is pretty much what I was hearing based on a lot of the leaks. Now, did this affect any of my views on Star Trek? Yes, it did. So did the last year of, the trolling, the threats, the name-calling, just the downright unpleasantness and aggressive nature of the fans of Discovery and the people that that the producers condone, the people who this show is for. These people do not think highly of Star Trek fans unless you're part of this little... How do I put this and stay monetized on this? Probably you can't. Unless you're part of this Orange Man bad, obsessed with the Orange Man, going out of your way to tell everybody why he's bad, they think you are in support of him, and they think you are less than because of that. And that is not my inclusive, liberal message of Star Trek. That is not my optimistic, hopeful look at the future. No, this looks bleak and disgusting, and in a time and day and age where we could be... Who knows what could happen? And this is why we need this escapism from this, even more so than ever. Because we don't know what could happen. The world is in turmoil. The world is not a happy, pleasant place right now, and we need stuff like Star Trek to be uplifting. I do not need another lecture about why everything is terrible. We know. You give me something to look forward to, for crying out loud. But they can't do that. Not only that, you get called every name in the book if you disagree with their hateful message. So take that as you will, and if you guys are enjoying it, I'm happy for you. See you guys on the next video, live stream, or wherever. Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button, and if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!